don't try so hard. Doing the right thing, and if it does, they'll say yes. If not, they'll say no.
Did they call yet? Did they call yet? Did they call yet?
Right.
Did they call yet? Did they call? My phone doesn't ring. My phone doesn't ring.
I love it. Sorry, Kelly. You let us take over, so this is what you're dealing with. Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the ridiculously amazing insurance podcast. I got it all out without messing up. I'm excited because it's the mayor here, Heath Sharon, and I got the diva, the newest consultant to the team, hanging out with me, and no Kelly. So when the cat's away, the mice will play. Is that how it goes?
It's almost like boys versus girls right now, right? Like,
Yeah, boy.
we got all the men on the APP team except for Lewis, the data guy. But I don't know if that Lewis knows the sales process as well as he knows data.
That's right. And we need that data. So I'm glad he's here.
Yeah.
So real quick, I know we gotta wrap this thing up in like 20 minutes, but I gotta hear, you've been all over the map lately. We put you right in the driver's seat and let you go. You've been flying all over the place. How's it been going?
Amazing. I think the good part is I'm hot off the market at the agency side and people found out. So now they want me in their agency. All right. So a whole lot of investments are happening all across the country.
The cool thing is, though, that you went through so many of Kelly's programs already, or our programs already. Correct. When you were with your other agency.
Yeah, that's why I was so excited to join the APP team. We actually did all of that. We did time management, sales, retention, sales again, retention again, sales again. I think we did sales 3 times and retention twice.
You are a pro then.
Yeah.
So, and it's great that you brought that up about sales. What a great segue. We didn't even practice this. You're leading me right into what we're talking about today, which is how to increase your closing ratio. And I know you working the agency level, you had experience probably working with a lot of salespeople. And so you probably saw this a lot. Producers that would come to you or that you would hear in meetings of, I can't get this one to close, or how do I get better closing ratios? Did you not?
Did you return their phone call? What?
Right?
But that's the simplest things we uncover, right? Like, did you know you're worth the sale?
Yeah. That's right. I just wrote a blog. I skipped a couple of months, so I'm back in the saddle. I wrote a blog on how to increase your closing ratio, and I broke it down into 5 basic steps. I know Kelly likes her steps. Mm-hmm. And so APP is Kelly, and Kelly is APP, and well, we are APP. So I want to do a 5-step process. So I came up with, and I want to see your thoughts on this. Totally, it's terrible. You just let me know right here live on the podcast, and we'll make up a whole new list. But I started off at number 1. I think in order to have a better closing ratio, you've got to understand your value add, what you bring to the table, and understand your value proposition, whatever that looks like. What do you think is step number 1? Are we good?
I think that's a twofer. Like the service team, we have to teach them that they're worth the sale because they're people pleasers, right?
Right.
So they're afraid to ask for the cross sell because they don't want to get the, no, I don't want that. But if they're good enough to be the auto agent, they're good enough to be the home agent.
That's right. No, I completely agree. And I think the commercial side, you've got to know what you bring to the table. If your agency is real big on doing webinars or doing seminars and things like that, if you bring that to the table, or if you bring education to the table of some sort, if you bring technology, maybe you've got this great platform that you can bring your commercial clients onto, or maybe you're crazy enough to do OSHA trainings and you love to do ladder safety and stuff like that. That's a big value add.
Well, I think the other part too is just knowing what the agency is good at. What should the agency be focusing on, and then preach it.
No, I completely agree. And so there's some of those agencies that we've been in, especially, over the last year, and you in the last couple of months traveling all over the place. You've probably seen some of those agencies are still in 1987, and you got those that are in 2025 already ahead of the game a little bit. And there's everything in between, right?
Absolutely. And I think the right market and the right client for each one of those people, though. So the people that are in the 80s, you are going to walk in, you're going to get a cup of coffee, you're going to have a 30-minute long conversation where you make your payment in cash. That's great if that's the agency model. Nothing wrong with that. Those customers are going to stay around forever because you're normally the only option in town. And they're just so used to you. Or there's the people that are in year 3000 that are texting and tweeting and communicating through all kinds of social media with their clients. And my mind is blown. I'm like, right? Yeah. But there's different types of agencies for different types of clients. So just knowing your value and what you're great at, and then finding the client to fit that model.
I went to an agency's office and they had Oculus goggles at their desk, like ready to go. Whenever somebody comes out with that platform, they're ready to rock. So that's something you want to add as part of your value add to the team. You want to be the first agency to go virtual? By all means, go for it, but be ready to preach it from the mountaintops and talk about that. I think number two, and I think you're probably really good at this. So far, I've already loved hearing some of this, but you have to be a storyteller. I think you got to be able to share examples, ask plenty of questions, be able to connect the policy they're purchasing back to what they're involved in and what's going on with them and what's going to resonate with them.
Well, I think, yeah, like I'm way overthinking the question, but I mean, sharing examples or asking questions like, what are you passionate about? Right? Like when we're adding a vehicle, just saying, oh, do you ever name your car?
Yeah.
Right? Because if they say, yeah, it's Black Betty, my friend has a early 80s Mercedes convertible that she named Black Betty.
There you go.
And anytime summer's coming, I'm like, how's Black Betty doing? She's like, she's getting her best, she's getting ready, and she lights up.
Yeah.
Well, if you remember those things about the customer or share those experiences,
the
customers sucked right in. I mean, ask me about my dog and my heart's going to melt, right? Like, oh,
100%.
Gina, I might hate her, but I love her at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Or you can be talking to them, share them examples. Why do I need an umbrella? Well, here's an example. And you could go into a story. We probably all got thousands of stories. I don't want to get into any of them, but we could share stories of a mile long of why you need this or why you need flood coverage or why you need equipment breakdown.
I have been hit by an uninsured motorist 3 times and had to use my uninsured motorist coverage 3 times. You know why I have uninsured motorists on my umbrella? Because I'm waiting for the 4th.
You know what else? I've got a 14-year-old son who loves to go around and ring people's doorbells and run. And now they've got these Ring doorbells with cameras.
Yes.
And my son has been caught many a times. And one of these days, I'm afraid he's going to get sued or he's going to say something or do something stupid. So I need to have a little extra on there. So I think an umbrella might help me.
Or one of his friends would come do it at your house, trip and fall and break their ankle.
Right? Stupid stuff happens all the time. So if you could share examples to tie it back into what's going on, I think it's going to help your closing ratio go up. Otherwise, they'll know.
Right.
I ask all the time in my trainings. You can steal this one if you want, Stephen. But I always say, raise your hand if your clients have an insurance license. And most of the time, they sit around and look at me like, no, well, they have an insurance license. The point being, you're the licensed professional, not them. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They don't know what's going on. You got to be able to share examples and educate them on what's going down.
I absolutely agree. And finding the common ground or what's important to them really helps with sharing the story.
Yeah. And I also heard you talk about either examples. I have a feeling you're pretty good at this too. One thing that I think would help a lot of people in increasing their close ratio is just slowing down and taking your time and not trying to rush through the process. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. I get thought all the time. Like I'm waiting for people to get me in the parking lot when I'm like, you can quote over the phone and close over the phone. Like,
yeah,
start to finish, done and done. Now, super complicated, $20,000 commercial account? Probably not. 20 vehicles? Probably not. But if we're talking 4 cars, mom, dad, 2 kids, or a basic BOP, general liability, 3 commercial autos, there's no reason we can't rate right over the phone, get it done, present it. And if you're taking 30 minutes of their time, telling stories, building relationship, and proving your value, they aren't calling other places.
And my favorite thing is, it was several episodes ago, you told a story like the perfect call you ever listened to of a lady on the phone and just going through like, oh, tell me about your new house.
Tell me talking to her best friend. Well, that's what. And I was like, this is like an angel right here. Like, if we could clone her, we'd all be billionaires.
Dude. But the thing is, she took her time. She walked her through. She became besties with her in a matter of 20 minutes. And she'll probably be able to upsell her, cross-sell her, anything she wants from this point forward.
Absolutely.
Because it wasn't some sleazy car salesman trying to get on off the phone, not explaining anything. Like, here's your quote. Let's go. Pressure, 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 pressure. I think you have to be able to slow down.
One of the worst people to try to sell new business.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
She found her rhythm. She was like, well, if I just ask them questions because I'm really interested, it's really easy. Like, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Like one day the light came on and she was like, look at me, kid.
Yeah. Use your nosiness to your advantage if you got to. That's me. I'm real nosy about it, man. I love to know.
I always like to ask about jewelry because I love a good jewelry schedule.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, what kind of jewelry you got? And they're like, well, nothing much. Maybe a wedding ring. I'm like, oh, well, tell me more about that ring. What about watches? Do you have bracelets?
Yeah.
What about earrings? What sitting in that jewelry box from grandma you haven't looked at for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And people are like, this guy's weird. Like, why are you asking me questions? I'm like, this is all risk that you don't know anything about. Your agent has not educated you on a jewelry schedule. I am here for you.
Right. Because again, if you don't have enough and you lose grandma's ring,
Right.
you can't replace that.
No, but a nice check would soften the blow a little.
Sure would. 100% would make it feel that much
But
better.
if we're rushing through and just like year, make, model, roof, like what's the risk? What's the payroll? Like asking just like the robot, like we're an automated system, we're not getting that relationship. We're not
No.
getting the story. We're not adding the value. And we can't ask the questions to assess the risk.
And we sound just like the guy down the street. Thus, our closing ratio is not going to be any better. We're going to be
Right.
just like the State Farm guy, the Farm Bureau guy, the whatever captive exclusive agent down the street. I just think it's like, and if you're a captive or exclusive listening, that wasn't about you. That was about somebody else. It's not very
We'd
good.
still love to help you, but but
Sorry, Kelly. You let us take over. So this is what you're dealing with. What about under promise, over deliver? I think too often we hear the other way around of that sleazy salesman. Oh, they promised me the world and they did all this, but then when it came down to it, I got nothing.
well, the thing I like to think about is like, oh, I get all the information. I like violate you to get all of the questions I need to quote your insurance, right? You've gotten down and dirty into the bottom drawer of my dresser, pulled it all out, and then I don't hear anything from you ever again, right? Like
Right.
I'm ghosted. Like I just spent 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes giving you all my life, and I never hear back. We're like, I'll call you by the end of the day. Okay, well, is that your end of the day or my end of the day, right?
Right.
But I think a lot of people are just used to, oh, I'll call you back by tomorrow afternoon. And I'm waiting and waiting. And I think clients a lot of times are either on a tight timeline, they only have so often they can talk on the phone, or yours the only call they're waiting for. And they literally wait by the phone like a little puppy at the front door going, did they call yet? Did they call yet? Did they call yet? Did they
Right.
call yet? Did they call? My phone hasn't rang. My phone hasn't rang. And they're literally like, oh, nope, didn't call me yet. Oh, nope, didn't call me yet. So you call them an hour later, which is reasonable for you.
Right.
But to them, it felt like 7 months that they haven't heard from anybody. So I mean,
Yeah,
I
I think that
really setting the appointment, setting the time, really making sure that you are following through with your promise is the big part.
Yeah, I think you nailed it too about setting the appointment. I think you had to have an open dialogue with your prospect or your customer to be able to say, can I call you this afternoon at 5? Or are you doing okay? What about tomorrow at 2? How about tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.? Are you good with that? Well, I'm usually getting my coffee at that time. Well, okay, how about 10? Whatever it might be. But work with them on that and set those expectations or let them know, hey, this process usually takes me about an hour. Can I give you a call back in an hour?
Right.
And that way they know they're not just sitting by the phone and wait, did he call? Did he call? Did
Right.
he call? Did he call? I want
End
to
of the
call.
day drives me insane. Tomorrow sometimes drives me insane.
Yeah, I think it should be a set time. You know, have some backup times. Know your calendar or have it in front of you when you're on the phone. So you're not like, oh, let me check my calendar. And they can hear you shuffling papers and looking around. And it's like, okay, this is unprofessional. But if you know it, you know your schedule, you got it in front of you. Say, okay, it looks like my schedule is this. Plus, it looks like you're more of a professional.
Right.
You have a lot more going on. You're not just some desperate sale. I got nothing going on. My whole day is clear
Right.
just for you.
I am completely open all day tomorrow. You pick the time because I'm just going to sit here and wait for you.
All I want to do is make your sale that's going to make me about $50.
Right. Right.
I'm ready.
But I think also with the under promise, over deliver is going above and beyond.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're calling for auto, but we're going to give them home and umbrella at the same time. Hello.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's awesome. It goes back to the old forward score method, and we've got to make sure that we're at least quoting those things. So again, and I always tell you, I'm not asking you to close for, but just to quote for, to be able to say, hey, you know, what do you think about this? By the way, for an extra $18 a month, I went ahead and quoted you an umbrella, got this already on there, and just move right on through. And again, that's just an over promise or over deliver and under promise. So you promised him a home and auto quote, but look, you got him this. And you extended it, or you got a jewelry floater, or you got him a this, or a schedule. So yeah, I think you're right on that. It's a good one.
My favorite umbrella trick, which is a little off topic, but we're talking about increasing closing ratio, right?
Right.
My favorite umbrella trick is
I love umbrella
like
tricks.
$1.25 million in auto liability for X amount of dollars, or would you like $250,000 worth of auto liability for $20 less, right? And somebody's like, wait, I get $1.25 million for $30 more a month?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to.
So once we hit a baseline, we can throw on an extra million and it's really affordable. Wouldn't you rather be protected at 1.25 million for only $20 more a month?
Yeah, it's
We're
old
not
Scott
telling
L would
them it's an
say.
umbrella and going
Y'all need to write that shit down. That's good stuff.
like literally, we're not going into obviously they're gonna have to sign a separate application and we're gonna have to explain it to them. But once we get the buy-in, we're golden, right?
No, you're exactly right. Yeah, I think it fits in this. I mean, you're increasing your close ratio. You're going to make the boss man happy. You're going to make your paycheck better. Yeah, why not?
Well, what client? I mean, what good client that at least you're trying to explain coverage to isn't going to at least consider the additional million if we make it attractive, easy to understand, and affordable?
Right. A different topic, but while we're on this, don't ask for it either. Don't just say, "Oh, do you care if I quote you an extra 1 million?" No, just tell them, just like Steven did. Just assume the thing and just say, let them tell you no. I went ahead for an extra $20. I went and got you 1.25 million as opposed to whatever. However, he just said it. It was brilliant. I loved it. You can't ask him because if you ask me, can I quote you an umbrella for 1 million more? I'm like, no, I don't want you.
My auto's already $200 a month. What's that going to be an extra $800 a month?
Because they assume they know everything's going to be expensive. So
I had a new producer reach out today and he was like, so what advice would you give a brand new producer to help close more? I'm like, assume the sale. Just say, hey, listen, like full on, full tilt to the wall, quoting over the phone. You get to the end. Don't even stop and add. Just be like, so it looks like I've solved your home problem, your auto problem. It looks like premiums coming in at X dollar number a month. I'm just going to need a signature on the app and your credit card number or automated payment information to get this started. How do you want to proceed? And he literally stops and he goes, that's simple enough.
Right?
Like, right. But once you've been in the industry for like a couple of years, you overthink everything. So like you just coming in fresh and hungry, like if I tell you just assume the sale and go for it, you're going to close like no other because people are going to be like, oh, he did solve my problems and that is a fair price. Okay, they've made it easy.
Yep.
Whereas if we're like, so the home is this, and the auto, I know you didn't want the auto, but I quoted it anyways, and it's this. And really, I know we're only, the home is going to be, we can bill that to the mortgage, but then the auto is going to be a separate payment and it's 2 applications, and I'm going to explain this all to you. Do you think you might want to review both or just the home? I'm going to say just the home, right? But if you're just like, hey, I solved all your problems, got you better coverage for a great value. All I need is your signature, which is done electronically. I can text it to you or email it to you right now, and your credit card number or your checking account information. What do you want to do?
Yeah, don't even take a breath. Just roll right into it, assume the close, and be done with it.
And then if they object, say, well, can you let me know where we lost communication in this process? Bingo. I thought we were full on.
Yep, I love it.
And then let them respond.
Yeah, I think that goes right into numero 5, whatever 5 is. I don't speak Spanish. I just blew it. All my Spanish speaking audience.
No, I had to count it out. So
I just lost my Spanish speaking audience.
Spanish.
My bad. So here you go. What we got to do is don't try so hard. I think that when you get into closing, people are like, well, I do the wedge technique, or I do this technique, or I do the stand on them, their foot on their throat, and make them buy from me technique. And I think if you try so hard to squeeze somebody into a closing technique, you're just wasting your time. You're going to end up killing the sale instead of killing the sale. Yeah, I think you can't try so hard to close it.
I know when I was doing a lot of sales, I started becoming successful when I finally let go.
Yeah.
Like I literally was just like, all right, we're just like, I know it's the right fit. I know it's what they need. Like, let's go for it. Like deep, calm breath. And here you go.
Right. I mean, we should be focused on helping our prospects determine what makes good business sense for them or doing the right thing. And if it does, they'll say yes. If not, they'll say no. I think that today's prospects, and I said this in the blog, so I'm going to try to quote this when I said, but I think today's prospects are too savvy to fall prey to any closing techniques. That's pretty good writing right there. But I think that people have too much internet, too much Google, too much TV. They've seen all the commercials. You can't throw them into some like wedge technique. They're gonna be like, I know what you're doing. I see what you're doing, Steven. You're sticking me into a technique, or you're doing the walk away, or you're doing whatever you're doing, and it's not going to work. You just got to be genuine.
Absolutely. I mean, we're looking to buy furniture.
Yeah.
We go to the furniture store, and I was like, I hate furniture shopping. Like, they're like on top of you. They follow you through the store. They want to tell you about things you don't need or want. And literally, this guy walked the first one. I'm like, yeah, I'm not dealing with you. Like, I was like, no, you are not for me, sir. The next thing I walked up, he's like, "Oh, hey, I'll be over here if you need me."
Yeah.
I was like, "Perfect. I bought all the furniture in my house comes from your store. I'm well aware of your product. I know about your warranty. Like, just let me touch the fabric and make sure I like the seat I'm going to be sitting in for the next." And he's like, "Cool. I'll be right over here if you need me."
Yep.
We get
I
close to
always
being
go to
done,
those
and he's like,
places.
"Did you see the matching coffee table?" I was like, "No, I didn't see the matching coffee table."
Yeah.
Right? Because at that point, he had my buy it. Like, he was like,
Yeah.
"I just thought because you like this, you might like to know this was available too. And did you know we had this?" And I ended up with,
But wait, there's more.
right. I ended up with a dining room table, 5 chairs, a bench, a hutch, a bar, a wet bar. I had the coffee table, the end table. I ended up with the whole furniture collection because the guy was just like, "Yeah, so I know you like that, but did you know there's more pieces to that?" And I was like, "Well, thank you."
Yep. I love it. Yeah. I just think that we should, instead of focusing on the close, in my opinion, we need to focus on the front end of the sales cycle, building rapport, understanding pain points, listening and asking questions, all of the first 5 things we talked about, not rushing the process, going through it all. Then at the end, before you know it, the prospect will say, "Where do I sign, Stephen?"
Absolutely.
Guess
People
what?
buy insurance from people they know, like, and trust.
That's right.
And we can't know, like, and trust a computer, can we?
Nope. I got a bonus one. So we got,
Okay.
but wait, there's more. So I put in a bonus.
More.
I still want you to read my blog, guys, but I'm going to go ahead and give you the bonus, the secret ninja bonus here. Well, you already talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but the bonus is, in order to improve your closing ratio, I'm a firm believer in follow-ups.
Yeah.
So many
7 times, Pete. 7 times.
Yeah.
That's my rule.
You have to. 44% of sales reps stop after the first one. They're like, "Oh, I called him once and it's over." I'm like, "That's it? Once? You didn't even try to follow up?"
I've been training the sales process all across the country for a management system, how to do it in the system and just the APP sales process. And I'm like, "Okay, guys, how many people stopped calling after one time because the client didn't answer?" And they're all like, "You can wave your hand under the table. Nobody has to see, right?"
Right.
"How many people give up after 2?" I'm like, "How many people make 7 calls?" And they were like, "That's dumb." I'm like, "That's when you close."
Yep.
People are
It's
busy. People get
crazy.
distracted. People are non-committed, right?
Yep.
Especially if it's a lackluster experience the whole time.
Yeah. After 4 follow-ups, 94% of salespeople give up. It's like, it's stupid. If you can just do 1 or 2 more, you can probably get the close. And it's not hard to follow up. People are like, "I don't want to bug them." You're not bugging them. If you believe in what you got, if you know that you've got the best product, you can save the money or you can improve their coverage, whatever it is that your stick is, if you can do that and you believe in that with your whole heart, you're not bugging them.
No. And I always let them know, like, "Hey, I haven't heard from you. I'm going to call you again tomorrow around 2.
Right?
It's 2:00. Just calling you back, trying to grab you. Is there a better time? Let me know. I'll try again in 2 days."
And it comes down to, we get into the breakup, a whole another deal. But I just think you've got to have those follow-ups and be able to document those. Speaking of systems, document your follow-ups. And after the 5 or 6, you do the breakup, put in the call them 6 months later or a year later and just follow back up. "Hey, I tried quoting you last year. Didn't seem like it was a good time. Let's try again now." We've added a new carrier, or our carriers have gone down in pricing, or this has happened, or that has happened, or whatever. But I do think the reluctance to follow up, it's a real thing. People are like, "I don't want to bug."
Absolutely.
But I think if you can be aware what we're doing and how you feel about how passionate you are and let them know that throughout the process.
So
Because I think it makes a lot of sense.
secret step number 6.
So what?
Secret step number 6.
Yeah.
All the S's. Secret step 6 is follow up.
Follow up. Yeah, I
It's
definitely.
not the blog. So only the listeners are going to learn this valuable tip from me.
That's right.
Follow up.
Step 6 is Stephen is a part of step 6. So it's another S.
I might have tried to title my slide "Stephen's Super Sexy Sales Process," but that got
I love it. Again, Kelly should have let us take over. So what a great time. I appreciate you jumping on and hanging out with me, Stephen. I love seeing you travel around the world. I love having a new tag team partner. I can watch you and what's going on. And I hear people talk about, "Hey, I met Stephen at IOA. He's so awesome." And it's so much fun to have someone else.
Everybody's giving Heath shout out too.
I love it. I'm so glad you're on the team. I'm glad we could do these things together. Let's hope that these guys can hear this lesson and increase their sales and call us up and be like, "Man, I listened to your podcast and my closing ratio's through the roof."
Holla.
Thanks again, guys, for listening to the Ridiculously Amazing podcast, and you'll have Kelly and the real deal next week. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.